Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm the Gap Major and this is Amateur Reports. Amateur Reports is your gameplays, submissions with my commentary, and today we have a submission from YTBrandonABC playing in the Tier 6 German premium battleship Scharnhorst. Now this is a Tier 5 and 6 game of domination on Sea of Fortune, and of course he spawned on the right hand side near Charlie, and we have the obligatory AFK player at the start of the game. Let's hope that the Pensacola can wake up in time to actually participate in this game. Now, on the friendly team, we have a Azur, an Aoba, Pensacola, Ragnarok, Brandon in the Scharnhorst, Eisenhower, Lion, and Colorado. On the enemy team, we have an Akatsuki, a Lagazinair, Pensacola, Snop, Nagato, Scharnhorst, Eisenhower, Lion. So, some, I guess, battleship heavy, but we still got some nice cruisers there. Worth mentioning, Pensacola's don't have torpedoes, so that does give you a bit of breathing space. So let's see how this goes. Now, amusingly, Scharnhorst is a premium in the game, even though she is the lead ship of the class and built as is, or represented as is in game. Getting a sneaky volley off there at the start. Whereas Eisenhower is a what if it was completed retrofit or reconstruction of the class to carry 15-inch guns. Now, the reason why Eisenhower went in for this reconstruction was because a 1,000-pound bomb penetrated the armoured deck and detonated the A-turret magazine while she was in harbour. Ooh, nice hit on the Nagato, getting a good 10,000 damage there. So with Eisenhower having most of her bow blown off, it was deemed it was worthwhile doing a 2-year reconstruction and getting some 15-inch gun turrets installed. Obviously that comes with all the associated works of making the ship slightly longer, strengthening the barbettes, changing the electronics and stuff like that. Unfortunately, it never got completed. The reason being is because the Scharnhorst got sunk. When the Scharnhorst was sunk at the Battle of North Cape, they basically called a halt to all development of surface vessels, and the reconstruction of the Eisenhower was basically put on pause and the materials invested elsewhere. Oh, we've got two Pensacolas coming around to Charlie. Now, if these Pensacolas get too close, they're going to be very easy food. So yeah, I always found it amusing that the Scharnhorst is the as-built premium, whereas the Eisenhower is the what-if tech tree. I always found that rather amusing. But obviously that means that Scharnhorst CD is different to the Eisenhower. Scharnhorst comes with 9 11-inch guns, which are perfectly good for broadside cruisers. Very nice. It's the nice one about the Scharnhorst is because she has those 9 guns, she has more stuff to throw at the wall. And the more you can throw at the wall, the more likely it's going to stick. And it's one of the benefits of the Scharnhorst. Now, yes, she does have 11-inch guns, which does mean that, say, against battleships and stuff, you just don't have that kind of penetration in order to get through thicker armour. However, against cruisers, they're still just as good. Here's the other Pensacola. Now, their destroyer has been spotted just near this location as well, hence the torpedoes. One of the nice things about the Eisenhower reconstruction, I guess you can say, is that her surviving 11-inch gun turrets were reallocated to shore batteries. And in fact, Caesar turret, or Y turret, actually still exists just north of Trondheim in Osterfort. Oh, getting himself in second kill in the Nagato. Very nice, up to 48,000 damage. So, actually, you can go visit this. It's a museum. It's a fortification. It's a German-built fortification from World War II, and it actually has the surviving rear turret of the Eisenhower, which you can actually go in and have a tour. Definitely one I'm going to be putting on my cards. I do enjoy Norway. Akatsuki closing in very close. He's definitely going for a make or break torpedo run. However, it's always funny when you torpedo a torpedo boat in your battleship. Either he just didn't know the Scharnhorst had torpedoes, or he was just really chancing his arm. Now it's a shame there that Brandon, he could have almost got himself a double kill if he fired on the Pensacola and had all faith in his torpedoes. But I don't blame him for holding his fire, considering that sometimes it can be very easy for a destroyer just to slip through a gap in those torpedoes, and then he would have egg on his face. Now this enemy line is put Brandon in a bit of an awkward situation here. I think he's just going to do a bit of a 3-point turn off this island to just make sure he stays angled against it. Problem is, he's coming into a bit of a crossfire. You see the Scharnhorst coming down to the centre. So, ideally, if he wants to avoid a crossfire, he probably wants to head towards the southeast. And then that way he's sailing away from the Scharnhorst and being angled against the Lion. However, that then just means that he's forcing a 1v1 against the Lion. Fair enough. But if he wins that engagement, then he's not going to be in a position to really help the rest of his team once he's sunk the Lion. Taken some heavy hits from the Lion, which is quite interesting, because the Lion does have 14-inch guns. And it doesn't look like the armor-piercing shells that Brandon is firing at the moment against the Lion they're not necessarily doing much work. Now, whether it's just because the Lion's angled against him, and therefore those 11-inch AP shells are just bouncing. Well, it looks like he's changed his mind and he's going for that 3-point turn, and he's going to start heading over towards the west, towards the rest of his team. Does mean he's going to be heading into a crossfire. So that's something to consider. Because here, yeah, the Scharnhorst has now picked out that Brandon's now broadside onto him and started opening fire. No, here firing against the Scharnhorst, I would have aimed a little higher. You've only got 11-inch guns, Scharnhorst has got a turtleback armor scheme. I would have been tempted just to aim almost for the upper armored belt, rather than aim for the waterline. But we'll see what we get out of this volley. So we're on 79,000 damage. And we're still on 79,000 damage, even with a pen, 2 shatters and 2 bounces. That's the interesting thing with the armour scheme of the German battleships. It is very survivable. And here's an interesting one. Now he's angled against him. Yeah, Brandon there aims for the basically for the deck level. Gets himself a nice 4,000 damage there. Broadside Lion to you. That's a very tempting target. But at the moment you're in a horrible crossfire, being really chewed up here. Probably be worth getting one of those repair parties off as quickly as possible. Oh, that Lion smacks you hard every single volley. Lion is very much that concept of throw enough of it at the wall, some of it's going to stick. They may only be 14-inch guns, but they're accurate, and it's a lot of them. Oh, Gneisenhower, full health Gneisenhower. Not doing too badly, getting 6,000 damage against her. Did aim at the waterline there. At this kind of range, this is where the turtleback armour scheme of the German battleships actually really helps. Putting yourself broadside onto both the Gneisenhower and Lion, this is going to be a bit risque. However, it looks like your torpedoes are true. Very nice, getting a high caliber there. Kill number 4. Bumping it into the island, which actually probably saved your life. Oh, that Scharnhorst is really beating you up though, but she looks like she's stuck on the island, so let's see if these torpedoes can be true. Getting ourselves Confederate. There's the Scharnhorst torpedoes, but thankfully you're accelerating quickly enough. Probably because you've taken Propulsion module. Unfortunately, Scharnhorst manages to mop you up. But we still have fish in the water, and last we saw that Scharnhorst wasn't moving. Now that Scharnhorst is capping Bravo, so if we can stop that, that might give, yes, gives your team a nice chance. It's just a flesh wound, crack unleashed, kill number 5, lots of lovely ribbons, always good. Well, as always, down in the description is the modules and commander build that Brandon's taken here. In this case, he's taken Aiming Systems Module 1 and Propulsion Module 2. That's why he was able to accelerate quite quickly off those islands whenever he bumped into them. Now, the commander build is something that me and Brandon actually did discuss probably about a month or so ago. We were talking about potential accuracy builds for German battleships, and I made a recommendation. He's given it a go, and it's quite interesting to see him submit it. The recommendation was to use Franz von Hipper with the Marksmanship skill, and then inspire that with Cunningham and Azur Lane Scharnhorst. Then that way you're just maximising the accuracy and just basically the accuracy buff and the dispersion decrease as well. So for his Franz von Hipper, he's taken Flammable Cannonier, Gyrating drill bits, Marksmanship, and proper Meticulous. Whereas I'd be tempted maybe to swap proper Meticulous out for fight fire with fire these days, especially if you're taking Flammable Cannonier. But yeah, all in all, so we've got some good level commanders there, and they're going to be really raking in that accuracy, and especially with a Scharnhorst with that number of guns being thrown down range. When they hit, they're going to probably all hit nice and closely together. Now, although the enemy are capping Bravo, it looks like it's a 2v1 ship advantage, and the points are definitely in Brandon's team's advantage. So don't really think there's too much point really discussing the rest of this game. It just seems to be going along quite nicely. Now, Scharnhorst is obviously very famous for having the joint longest range battleship hit. She managed to hit the aircraft carrier Glorious at a range of 24,200 meters. She's also one of the ships with quite a few engagements during the war, especially from the German side. I mean, she engaged the armed merchant cruiser Rawalpindi, she engaged the battle cruiser Repulse, engaged the aircraft carrier Glorious, and her escorts Acaster and Arden. Also famous for the Channel Dash, where she basically got through the channel on a foggy evening, which is quite an interesting one. She was also bombed by Ark Royal and the Royal Air Force on numerous occasions. And then she's also famous for her final Battle of the North Cape, where she engaged the Duke of York, HMS Sheffield, HMS Belfast, and HMS Norfolk, and HMS Jamaica, I think, was there as well. So, very long career for a German battleship during World War II, and a very active career. Probably one of the most active careers for a German battleship, considering Eisenhower did most of the same engagements, but then went into reconstruction. Bismarck had only one engagement, I guess you could say, only one mission. Tirpitz never really got to do anything, kind of sulked around. And that's about it for most of the German key units, I guess you could say. Oh well, there's no point watching this go through, so we'll put it on 4 times speed with a bit of Colonel Bogey's March. Well, here we are at the end screen, and we can see that Brandon has managed to get himself 145,000 damage from 61 hits on target, 5 torpedo hits, getting himself 5 kills, 3 fires, 4 flooding, 2 citadels, 16 of those lovely defender ribbons, always very helpful, and 38 secondary hits. Getting himself, it's just a flesh wound, Confederate, devastating strike, high caliber, and Crackle Unleashed. So all in all, quite an enjoyable game, quite a good game as well to see there. Obviously, at the team screens, he's a bit of a runaway winner there, with nearly 1,300 ship XP more than the next best player on his team, coming in top of the leaderboard with all those lovely medals. And it's interesting to see that the Lion, which was really wrecking him at one point, just to around the Charlie objective, comes in first on the enemy team as well. So I guess that was the almost a duel of the best of each team at one point. Yeah, it's interesting to see that there's a Pensacola at the bottom of each team. Pensacola is very fragile. Don't stick them broadside on. usually try to keep at range with them if you can. And it's also interesting to see that there is actually a Pensacola which does do quite well on the enemy team, coming in third on his team. Going on to the economy screen, we can see that he's managed to walk away with 575,000 credits without any credit booster, but only a premium account there. So really raking it in with the Scharnhorst. Obviously, being a tier 6 premium ship, she does have a reduced ship service cost, so in this case that's about 81,000 credits. Normally you'd be looking at about 110 for a tier 6, so a nice little bit of a discount there. Obviously that discount wouldn't have really impacted on how much credits he's been able to really walk away with there, and getting himself 9,000 ship XP from a premium ship bonus and a daily win bonus. Whoa, that's a lot of elite XP that you can convert to at a later date. Very nice, very nice. And obviously the amount of ship XP that you earn reflects the amount of commander XP that you earn. So here in this case, he's managed to also get himself 9,000 commander XP. All in all, quite an enjoyable submission and quite a good watch. I probably would have played it a bit more passive and headed to the eastern corner and duelled it out against the Lion. However, that probably would end up being a losing battle. And I think taking the high risk, high reward route towards the Bravo objective, taking out the Gneisenau and the Scharnhorst, is probably risky, but definitely the better choice in this case. And he pulls it off quite nicely. Now, Brandon did leave a message that he did want to be read out, and he wanted to basically say that he'd like to say thank you to myself for suggesting this build. I'm glad he's had some success with it. And he'd also like to say thank you for having him once again on the channel. And he'd also like to say thank you to everyone for watching. And I'd like to say thank you to everyone for watching as well. If you have enjoyed it, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you enjoy this content, feel free to subscribe. As always, I'd like to say thank you to the subscribers, and as always down in the description is the commander build and the ship modules used. If you have any of your own gameplay submissions that you'd like to send in, then our email address is also down there, along with a guide on how to upload them and send them in. And also there is the link to Patreon if you want to support the channel on Patreon, as it is a non-monetized channel. Until next time, I'm the Gaff Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major. Bumpity, 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 bump. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down. I guess this is the life. Now, hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major.